The sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple as the Paw Patrol pups gathered at the lookout. Tonight was special, a starry night sleepover. Ryder had set up a large tent in the field behind the lookout, complete with sleeping bags, pillows, and a telescope for stargazing. Chase, ever the responsible pup, made sure everyone had their toothbrushes and pajamas. Marshall, clumsy but lovable, tripped over a tent stake, sending a giggle through the group. Skye bounced with excitement, eager to spot constellations, while Rubel dreamt of the snacks Ryder had promised. Rocky, resourceful as always, had brought his recycling kit just in case they needed to build anything, and Zuma, cool and collected, was already humming a calming lullaby. As darkness fell, the stars began to twinkle. Ryder helped the pups set up the telescope, and they took turns peering at the moon and the distant planets. Skye, with her sharp eyesight, pointed out the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. "Wow," gasped Rubble, "they look like giant spoons." Marshall, squinting through the lens, mistook a distant satellite for a shooting star and made a wish for an endless supply of pup treats. Ryder gathered everyone around a small, safe campfire. He told stories of brave knights and magical creatures, his voice a soothing rumble in the quiet night. The pups roasted marshmallows, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Chase, initially worried about fire safety, relaxed as Ryder demonstrated how to safely handle the roasting sticks. Suddenly, a faint whimpering sound drifted from the nearby woods. Chase's ears perked up. "Did you guys hear that?" he asked. The other pups listened intently. The whimpering came again, louder this time. "Sounds like someone's in trouble," Ryder said, standing up. "Paw Patrol to the woods." The pups sprang into action, grabbing their flashlights. Chase led the way, sniffing the ground for tracks. Skye took to the air, scanning the trees with her night vision goggles. They followed the sound, pushing through bushes and over fallen logs until they came to a small clearing. In the center they found a tiny, shivering puppy. It was a lost beagle pup, no bigger than Rubble's paw. It was huddled beneath a large oak tree, its big brown eyes wide with fear. "It's okay, little guy," said Marshall, approaching the puppy gently. He knelt down, offering a comforting paw. The puppy cautiously sniffed Marshall's paw, then whimpered again, pointing its nose towards a tall tree. High up in the branches, the pups could see a shimmering object caught amongst the leaves. It was the puppy's collar, with its name tag caught amongst the leaves. Sparky must have climbed the tree and gotten his collar stuck, Rocky deduced. Then he got scared and lost his way. "Don't worry, Sparky, we'll get your collar back," Ryder assured the little beagle. He turned to Skye. "Skye, can you use your harness to reach the collar?" "You bet, Ryder," Skye replied. She activated her wings and soared into the air. Carefully she maneuvered her harness around the branch and gently tugged at the collar. After a few moments, the collar came loose, and Skye brought it down to the ground. Rubble carefully put the collar back on Sparky. The beagle pup wagged its tail excitedly and licked Rubble's face. Sparky was reunited with his collar and no longer felt lost. Ryder contacted Sparky's owner, Farmer Yumi, who was overjoyed to hear that Sparky was safe. Farmer Yumi arrived a few minutes later, her face etched with worry. She scooped Sparky into her arms, showering him with kisses. "Thank you, Paw Patrol," she said, her voice full of gratitude. "You're the best." The pups returned to the lookout, their hearts full. Though their sleepover had been interrupted, they had helped a puppy in need, and that was the best reward of all. They snuggled into their sleeping bags, feeling cozy and content. As they drifted off to sleep, they listened to the gentle chirping of crickets and gazed at the sparkling stars, knowing they had made the night a little brighter for someone else. And Sparky, safe in his warm bed at Farmer Yumi's, dreamt of brave pups and starry nights. The day was hot and humid, even for Adventure Bay. The pups were lounging in the shade of the lookout, panting gently. Ryder noticed their lethargy. "How about a little adventure to cool off?" he suggested, a twinkle in his eye. "I heard about a whispering cave just outside of town. It's supposed to be much cooler inside." The pups perked up immediately. An adventure. Chase, ever vigilant, made sure everyone had their water bowls and cooling vests. Marshall, despite the heat, was already imagining finding hidden treasures inside the cave. Sky eagerly anticipated soaring through the cool dark tunnels. Rubble hoped for some delicious cave moss. Rubble hoped for some interesting rocks. Rocky packed his multi-tool in case they needed to clear any pathways, and Tsuma, always ready for water fun, envisioned underground streams and waterfalls. They piled into the Paw Patroller and headed towards the Whispering Cave. The cave entrance was hidden behind a curtain of ivy, nestled into a rocky hillside. As they stepped inside, a wave of cool air washed over them. The puptage dropped noticeably, and the pups sighed in relief. The cave was dimly lit, with only the beams of their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Strange rock formations lined the walls, casting eerie shadows. As they ventured deeper, they heard a faint whispering sound, echoing through the tunnels. "Did you hear that?" whispered Chase, his ears twitching. "It sounds like the cave is talking to us," Marshall whispered back, his voice trembling slightly. Ryder smiled. "That's why they call it the Whispering Cave," he explained. "The sound is just the wind blowing through the narrow passages." They continued to explore, following the winding tunnels. Sky flew ahead, using her night vision goggles to guide them. They came across a large cavern, where a small underground stream flowed, creating a miniature waterfall that cascaded into a clear pool. The pups took a break, drinking from their water bowls and splashing their paws in the cool water. Suddenly, Rabuler let out a yelp. "My flashlight! It's gone!" He frantically patted his pockets, but his flashlight was nowhere to be found. "Don't worry, Rubble," Rocky said calmly. "We'll find it." He activated his multi-tool, turning on its built-in light. The pups began to backtrack, retracing their steps through the tunnels. As they searched, the whispering sounds seemed to grow louder, almost like frantic voices. The pups started to feel uneasy. Chase, ever cautious, reminded them to stay close together. Finally, they found Rubble's flashlight lying on the ground near a narrow crevice. Rubbles cheered, relieved to have his light back, but as he reached for the flashlight, a large rock shifted, blocking the exit from the small tunnel they were in. They were trapped. The pups panicked. The whispering sounds now seemed menacing, echoing their fear. "Calm down, everyone," Ryder said, his voice steady. "We'll figure this out. Rocky, can you use your tools to try and move the rock?" Rocky examined the rock, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It's too big, Ryder," he said. "I can't move it by myself." "Then we'll work together," Ryder declared. He directed the pups to use their combined strength to push against the rock. Chase and Rubble used their powerful paws, while Sky used their harness to pull. Zuma and Marshall braced themselves against a nearby wall, providing extra support. They pushed with all their might, the whispering sounds of the cave a counterpoint to their grunts of effort. Slowly, inch by inch, the rock began to move. With a final heave, they pushed it far enough to create a narrow opening. They squeezed through the gap one by one, breathing a sigh of relief. They emerged from the cave, blinking in the sunlight. They were tired and dusty, but also exhilarated. They had faced their fears, worked together, and overcome a challenge. The Whispering Cave had tested them, but it had also brought them closer. Back at the lookout, as they enjoyed cool drinks and pup treats, they realized that the whispers hadn't been menacing at all. They had been the whispers saw the cave, urging them to work together, to be brave and to never give up. And that night, as they drifted off to sleep, they dreamt of cool caves, whispering winds, and the power of teamwork.